He went from homeless to $50 million, then lost it all in 30 days. Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning with $50 million in your bank account. Now imagine waking up on a Wednesday, 30 days later, with nothing. Not a bad investment, not a stock crash, not even a scammer. Nothing, because of a force so invisible, so deeply wired into the human brain that most people never even know it exists. That force has a name, and today, you're going to learn exactly what it is. But first, I need to take you back to a sidewalk in Detroit, Michigan. The year is 2003, and a man named Marcus Cole is sleeping on a piece of cardboard under a highway overpass. He is 31 years old. He has $4.17 in his pocket. He hasn't eaten in 2 days, and within 10 years, Marcus Cole will be worth $50 million. Stay with me, because what happens next will change how you think about money forever. Marcus Cole didn't grow up poor because his parents were lazy. He grew up poor because his parents grew up poor, and their parents before them. There is a term for this in psychology. It's called generational poverty, and it does something terrifying to the human brain. It rewires it. Studies from Harvard University show that chronic financial stress literally shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control. In other words, growing up broke doesn't just affect your wallet. It changes the actual structure of your mind. And Marcus Cole's mind had been under financial stress since the day he was born. His father left when he was 6. His mother worked 2 jobs and still couldn't keep the lights on. Marcus remembers as a child being told to not answer the door because it might be bill collectors. He learned very early that money was something that disappeared, something that caused pain, something that people fought over, lied about, and lost sleep over. By the time Marcus was a teenager, he had already formed a deep, unconscious belief, one that would follow him for the rest of his life. Money is temporary, and I don't deserve to keep it. He didn't know he believed this. No one told him. It was just absorbed, like oxygen, invisible and everywhere. By age 28, Marcus had tried 3 businesses. All 3 failed. Not because the ideas were bad, but because every time he started to make money, something inside him found a way to destroy it. He'd overspend. He'd trust the wrong people. He'd walk away from deals that were almost done. Psychologists call this financial self-sabotage, and it is far more common than you think. By 31, Marcus had lost everything he ever had, including the woman he loved, who left him 6 months before he ended up on that sidewalk. He was alone, broke, and completely out of options. But something was about to happen to Marcus Cole that would flip his entire world upside down. It started with a stranger named Raymond. Raymond was 67 years old, a retired civil engineer who spent every Tuesday morning volunteering at a local shelter, the same shelter where Marcus had finally agreed to sleep indoors after 3 months on the street. Raymond didn't offer Marcus money. He didn't offer him sympathy. He offered him a book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Marcus almost threw it away. He'd seen enough self-help nonsense. But it was cold outside and he had nowhere to be. So he read it, and something cracked open inside him. Not because the book had magic answers, but because for the first time in his life, Marcus realized that how he thought about money was the problem. Not the economy, not his past, not his circumstances. His mind, his beliefs, his programming. He went back to Raymond the next Tuesday, and the Tuesday after that. For 6 months, they met every week. Raymond mentored him in the basics: budgeting, investing, building assets instead of chasing income. Marcus got a job at a construction company. Nothing glamorous. He swept floors and moved materials. But he studied everything around him. He watched how contracts were structured. He listened to how the foreman talked to clients. Within 2 years, Marcus had saved $11,000, the most money he had ever held in his life. He used it to launch a small property maintenance company. Just him and 2 other guys. Within 18 months, the company had 12 employees. Within 4 years, they were managing over 200 commercial properties across 3 states. Within 8 years, Marcus Cole was worth $50 million. From cardboard to $50 million in 8 years. This is the part of the story everyone celebrates. But this is not where the story ends, because the real story, the one that will change how you think about wealth forever, is what happened next. It's 2014. Marcus is 42 years old. He's living in a $4 million home in Miami. He has a Porsche in the driveway, a boat he rarely uses, and a team of accountants managing his wealth. He's made it. By every external measure, Marcus Cole is a success story. But something is wrong. His therapist, the one he had started seeing 2 years earlier, noticed it first. "Marcus," she said during one of their sessions, "you talk about your money the same way you talked about your father, like it's going to leave." Marcus laughed it off, but the words stayed with him. And then, in January of 2015, the decision started. First, Marcus agreed to co-sign a $12 million business loan for his childhood friend, Darnell, a man who had shown repeated signs of financial irresponsibility for years. When his team advised against it, Marcus overruled them. "He's my brother," he said. "I have to help him." 3 weeks later, Darnell defaulted. Marcus was liable. In the same week, Marcus received a lawsuit from a former business partner, alleging that Marcus had breached a contract he had signed years earlier without reading the fine print. The lawsuit was worth $19 million. His legal team told him to fight it. Marcus, overwhelmed, anxious, and spiraling, chose to settle immediately for $14 million. "I just wanted it to go away," he would later say. And then came the real blow. One of Marcus's senior accountants, a man he had trusted for 5 years, was discovered to have been embezzling funds. The investigation revealed that over $11 million had been quietly drained from Marcus's accounts over 36 months. In 30 days, $37 million was gone. The rest evaporated in the legal and recovery costs that followed. By February 2015, Marcus Cole was effectively bankrupt again. But here is the question that should stop you cold right now. Was this bad luck? Bad timing? Bad people? Or was it something else entirely? Marcus's therapist had a different answer, and it comes from one of the most powerful and least talked about concepts in wealth psychology. It's called a wealth thermostat. The wealth thermostat. What science says. Just like a thermostat regulates the temperature in a room, always pulling it back to its set point, the human brain has an internal wealth thermostat, a comfort zone for how much money it believes you are allowed to have. This concept was popularized by author T. Harv Eker and later studied by behavioral economists at MIT and the University of Chicago. The research is striking. People who come into large amounts of money, whether through inheritance, lottery wins, or rapid business success, statistically return to their previous financial level within 3 to 7 years. Not because they are stupid, not because they are unlucky, because their internal thermostat pulls them back. Marcus grew up believing, at a deep, subconscious level, that he was a poor person. That was his set point, his identity. When he accumulated $50 million, his brain recognized it as a threat to its own identity. And without Marcus even realizing it, it engineered its way back to zero. The bad cosign, the panic settlement, the unchecked accountant, every single one of those decisions was driven not by logic, but by a mind that had never been reprogrammed for wealth. He changed his bank account, but he never changed his mind. What you must take away. The transformation. Marcus Cole did not disappear after 2015. This time, he didn't give up. This time, he went back to therapy. He studied behavioral finance. He read everything he could find about the psychology of money. And slowly, with intention, he began to reprogram his wealth thermostat. He set boundaries. He said no to Darnell and every other person who approached him with their hand out. He built a team he could trust, and this time he actually reviewed what they sent him. It took 6 more years, but by 2021, Marcus had rebuilt his net worth to $18 million, not $50 million, but this time he knew how to keep it. And here is what Marcus says about that. The first $50 million was an accident of hustle. The $18 million is built on who I became, and that's worth infinitely more. The 3 wealth psychology lessons from Marcus's story. Lesson 1. Your wealth ceiling is set before you earn your first dollar. The beliefs you formed about money in childhood, from your parents, your environment, your experiences, become the invisible ceiling on how much you allow yourself to keep. The first step to building lasting wealth is identifying what those beliefs are, not ignoring them, not working around them, confronting them. Lesson 2. Emotional decisions are the most expensive decisions you will ever make. Marcus lost $14 million in a single afternoon because he panicked and settled. The emotional brain and the financial brain are in constant conflict. Every major money decision should have a mandatory 48-hour waiting period, minimum. Urgency in financial decisions is almost always manufactured and almost always a trap. Lesson 3. Building wealth and keeping wealth require 2 completely different skill sets. Marcus was brilliant at building wealth. He had hustle, vision, and relentlessness, but he had never developed the psychological infrastructure to hold wealth. Keeping money requires trust systems, boundary setting, team oversight, and a deeply secure sense of self-worth. Without those, no amount of earning will ever be enough. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your psychology. That is the truth that Marcus Cole learned the hard way. And that is the truth that Million Mind Shift exists to teach you through every story, every video, and every money lesson we share. Before you go, I want to ask you one question. What is your wealth thermostat set to? Not what you wish it was, not what you're working toward, but right now, at this moment. What level of financial success does your brain believe you deserve? Sit with that. Really think about it. Because until that number changes in your mind, no strategy, no investment, no hustle will ever be enough to make it permanent. If this story made you think, if it made you feel something, drop a comment below. Tell me, what was the most powerful moment for you? And if you're serious about understanding the hidden psychology behind money, subscribe to Million Mind Shift. Every week, we bring you real stories about real people and the real psychology behind why some people build lasting wealth and why others keep losing it. The next story drops soon. You don't want to miss it. Welcome to Million Mind Shift, where real money stories change lives.